Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the GameCast NewsCast. I'm Snowy, otherwise known as Count Fracula. Joining me for the second time in a row is Sully.
Hello. Happy to be back.
Indeed. And it's been a couple of weeks. It's quite a news week. We're not going to touch on the... we're not going to do a big thing on the big thing, because it's a distraction technique, and we're not going to get distracted by it. For those of you who don't know, let's just bring it up very quickly. Violent video games are being blamed again for the mass shootings in America, and I refuse to even dignify that with an answer.
Very absurd.
Very absurd. It's a thing that's happening, and that's about as much as I want to talk about it, because fuck them. Fuck the distraction techniques. Let's talk about some other news, but...
some actual games.
Yes. We'll start with the traditional segment. Sully, what have you been playing this week?
My lord. Well, I've just been playing a little bit of Minecraft. Pulled my hair out because I couldn't connect to Kelsey, so we couldn't play in our world, which is very sad. That's probably all I've been playing, really. I've been dabbling in my usual stuff, being Game Boys. So that's about it, really, for me at the moment.
Yes, if you don't follow he's now got an Instagram. Is it called Yesterday's Tech?
Yes, at Yesterday's Tech. So I should be the only one on there under that handle. So basically, I just wanted a place where I could kind of put all of that stuff without feeling like I was spamming different areas, because I felt like I was starting to spam a little bit. So if it interests you, go and follow it, because there's restoration videos, images of Game Boys. There's some mods going up now as well. And yeah, lots of fun.
Good. Will any of that be coming to the channel at all, or not?
As you know, I've already got 1 or 2 videos up. I'm unsure if I'm going to keep doing them, because I find them incredibly labor intensive, and I feel like it slows me down a lot in terms of like how fast I want to kind of start going through these Game Boys and tinkering with them. Like, I just get caught up in the process too much, I think. So I'm undecided. I'm also moving house as well, so it's definitely going to be on the other end of that. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Okay. Fair enough. There we go. These things happen. It's fine. It's not really the end of the world. I just want to see more.
I'm trying to post as much as I can. I think at the moment, the best place to see like the process is actually on my Instagram story.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be as detailed as possible there as I can. And I'm hoping I'm going to keep blowing that up a little bit more as well. But it's just videos, man. Like, putting together like that backlight video, I felt like it didn't really capture the process. Like, if I actually capture the process, it takes like 5 hours of video. So I felt like it just didn't really do the process justice, and it just didn't click with me. So I don't know. But anyway, we're kind of going down the rabbit hole now. So we'll wait and see what happens. I might try to rejig it all.
Cool. Well, is there anything else that you've been playing then this week?
No, actually, no. It's been a pretty quiet week, actually. No. What have you been playing, Count?
Not much.
It's been a quiet week for everyone.
It has been a quiet week. I've played a little bit of I'm trying to actually think what I've been playing. It's not much.
We are hopeless.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned it on the last newscast, but I'm playing a bit of Automa Chef. Last played... Yeah, it might be mentioned. So basically, think it's basically a puzzle game crossed with a business management / chef type game. It's quite challenging, but it's a really good little puzzle game. I think it's really good. You basically have a set kitchen space, and you have to make a set of dishes to order. Like, so it's not just you have to keep making these dishes, you have to make them to order. And you get like some secondary goals with each thing. So you have to use a certain amount of power in kilowatts or you have to use a certain amount of ingredients, or the other one is usually a certain amount of time or something like that. And it's quite challenging, and it gets more complicated as you go along, and you have to end up just... It's a bit ridiculous, but it's great. I love it. It's it's a really fun little game. I played Plague Inc. Evolved again, which is
very good.
Yeah, it's very good. I had a disease called the clap. That's it.
Oh no.
The clap killed about 25% of the population.
That's not a good one.
I think
dear.
I remember the first one I ever did when I bought the game. I called it communism, and it killed half the population.
It's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I always start in Madagascar when I play that, because Madagascar is always the hardest place to get.
Yeah, it's like isolated.
Yeah, and they're really sort of tetchy about closing their ports. So it's like, quick, do it.
That's so good. I used to always try to like hold Madagascar when I'd play Risk as well. I don't know, something about Madagascar. Like, there was only one pathway in. I'm like, I'm just gonna hold this.
Yeah, pretty much.
So good. I love Risk, man. That's such a good board game. I've got so many versions of Risk, like 4 different versions.
I don't actually have any, and that sounds good.
It is sick, yeah. I think it's a Doom Risk as well. There's so many different Risks, man. It's such a good game.
Yeah. It's one of those. It's a classic game, isn't it?
You know what we should do? We should see if we can find a digital version and play it.
That'd be a good idea.
I'd be down for that.
That'd be a good stream. A free version of Risk. Yeah, that's definitely gonna be a thing that's worth doing. Play Risk for free online.
Sounds risky.
It does, doesn't it? I'll try and find a version where we can just play it together for free or something along those lines.
A few bucks, whatever. I'd be down for that. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
One thing I actually have been doing a lot of before we jump into the newscast and we talk about the very little news is I don't know why, but Kelsey and I have started watching PewDiePie's Minecraft series. He just seems to be going Minecraft mad at the moment.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
That guy's so strange, but it's so funny.
Fair enough.
I don't know. It's just I can't stop watching his Minecraft shit. Like, what is wrong with me? Am I 15? I don't know.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me, Count?
Maybe it's just the nostalgia of when every YouTuber played Minecraft. Yeah.
I don't know. He's got 98 million subscribers, and he's going to probably cross the 100 million mark while playing Minecraft. Like, that game's already had its time in the sun. It just doesn't make sense. But whatever. So it's been fun.
I'll tell you one thing I have been playing a fair bit of. Pokemon Go. I've been playing a lot of that recently.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice. I remember this is, early days of GameCast. Pokemon Go had been out for about a year. I'd fallen off the train before we started, and I was like, I don't think anything's going to get me back on. I'll give them credit. They've really improved this game over the last couple of years.
I've not played it since launch, so that's cool.
It's a lot more feature rich. There's a lot more going on in the game now. So you get events that'll just be like things like community days, where a certain Pokemon will spawn lots between in a certain amount of time, and you're more likely to get a shiny of that Pokemon as well. It's things like that. Right. And there's a really good way of getting people to go out and play. There's also, there's now bits of research. So if you spin a Pokestop, it'll give you a research project. And if you do the task, then it rewards you with like an encounter or something else like that. And then you've also got the special bits of like sort of semi quote unquote plot research, where it gives you lots more to do than when the game first launched, so it encourages you to play a lot more.
Yeah, right. Does or will Pokemon Go have any connection or influence on Sword and Shield?
on Switch. So at the moment, you can transfer Pokemon from Pokemon Go to the Pokemon Let's Go games.
Okay.
But when they bother to launch this Pokemon Home thing, this big hub, you'll be able to transfer things from Pokemon Go to that as well.
Right, so this, I think we've just discussed this before, but this is like kind of the new save bank thing for Pokemon that lets you transfer in between games, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much.
Awesome. Speaking of which, those new Switches are not far off. I'm keen.
Yeah.
I'm getting keen.
Well, we shall talk about those a little bit later on. That's going to be coming up. But yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, a good time for Switch owners at the end of this year, last quarter.
Indeed. So, without further ado then, that's what we've been playing this week. And let us crack on with the non-gun related news of the week.
The crumbs.
Yes, exactly. The dregs. We were just talking about it, but let us actually get into the story. Nintendo have... Nintendo haven't announced, but the rumour mill...
Nintendo things.
Nintendo's doing Nintendo things. The rumour is going around, though, that the Switch might be getting better displays thanks to Sharp, the company. I'll let you take the lead on this, Sully, because you said it first, and by the time this goes out, there'll be one of our new format news videos where you discussed it. So I'll let you take the lead on this.
Very good. If you've listened to the news, I had to keep it pretty brief. It's a very short form factor package, but it's interesting because Sharp has had a deal in place with Nintendo, from what I've read, as of March earlier this year, to be a parts manufacturer, and they've all of a sudden gone on record with the Wall Street Journal stating that they're going to be providing Nintendo with displays. What we don't know at the moment, though, is whether or not, or we don't know anything. We don't know whether these displays are for a new console, like that Nintendo has under wraps, or if it's for the existing Nintendo Switch, or if it's for a future Switch models. We don't know anything. What is interesting, though, is that these displays will be offering a whole slew of improvements in terms of the quality of the display itself. Anything ranging from more resolution, reduced power consumption, less noise on the screen, smaller footprint within the Switch casing itself, and a few more bits and pieces as well in terms of benefits. So it sounds like, to me, it could be a pretty big deal for the Switch. And I'm hoping that the recently announced Nintendo Switch Lite and the revised Switch will have these panels. But I'm kind of suspecting at the moment that they could be reserving them for something else, maybe next year, like maybe the often talked about Switch Pro, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So they said they had this deal since March, so it's not beyond the bounds of reason, definitely, that it'll be in the Switch Lite.
No, it just seems strange because we've discussed, or even Nintendo themselves have talked about the benefits of the Switch revisions being the battery life and all that, which is, we attribute that to reduction in chip size, and et cetera, et cetera. I would have thought, though, that if these new Switch models and revisions launching next month, if they did have this new display in it, that they'd be making a bit of a stink about it.
This is true, I suppose, because it's supposed to be a higher resolution, but then, saying that, it's a smaller screen, so it'll have a higher pixel density, so maybe that's where that's coming from.
Well, this is exactly why I'm getting a Nintendo Switch Lite, because it's a 720p panel, and I want the better pixel density. But, even if they bought panels from Sharp that were just 720p panels that they were dropping into the Switch because they didn't want to strain the processors anymore, the Tegras, which is fair enough. You don't want to be trying to... What's the point of having a 1080p resolution panel in your Switch if it
can't handle it.
720. Exactly. But even if they dropped a 720p panel in and the screen still looked better, crisper, and brighter, and you got better battery, I would have thought Nintendo would be talking about that. It seems like a pretty big deal, these panels, according to Sharp. Maybe it's just Sharp talking up their shit. I don't know. But I'm kind of suspecting that maybe these panels are for something else and other Switch models. And maybe we'll get that Pro with a 1080p panel in it from Sharp.
Yeah, we may well do. What we may also get is just a small, not very well talked about revision to the standard Switch. Because that's something that Nintendo have done before. There's a quote on it. There's a thing on this CNET article. They upgraded the Game Boy Advance SP in 2005 with a brighter screen, and that's 3 years after the original model came out.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the model that I'm thinking of, I think it went from a front light to a backlight, which was an incredible difference. It's almost like the definitive console to own if you want to play all of the earlier games. Like, that's one of the most sought after screens going around.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. They've done this before with just these quiet revisions. I don't know why they do it. Like, I guess they just don't want to have disgruntled buyers. They just kind of quietly do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. These panels seem like a big deal. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And as per usual, Nintendo is typical Nintendo, just quiet and coy about everything. So we'll have to wait until we start seeing the teardowns for these new models, I think.
I think so. That's basically going to be where we find out anything about this stuff. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I still think, I don't think we'll get a Switch Pro, like, as they're saying it. I think we're going to get, I think they're going to do a silent update to the original Switch. So, say, if you just buy a standard Switch in a year's time, it won't, on the surface, look any different to the Switch that I have. But it'll have, a slightly better screen or a slightly better processor or whatever. It'll just be an incremental improvement that they've just not advertised as a separate product.
Do you think we could see something like a 1080p panel in a Switch and it has a better chip, but all that chip just is there to give you those few extra pixels on screen for the panel? And that's what they call, the Nintendo Switch New or Plus or something?
Possibly, but then at the same time, I think I kind of think Nintendo have maybe realised that there's not anything necessarily to be gained from just rebranding every little revision as its own separate thing, because you sort of kill the market for the other things then. Yeah,
that's true.
So they may well go, oh, we've updated the Switch. But then they also might well just not. They might not rebrand it as a separate product. They'll just go, "Hey, this is the updated Switch."
Yeah, it's got a higher resolution screen. It plays all the same games. End of story.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same as, like I said, with the Game Boy Advance SP. They didn't market it differently. They didn't go, "This is the Game Boy Advance SP Plus" or whatever. They went, this is the 2005 model of Game Boy Advance SP. It has a slightly brighter screen.
Which one do you have?
I have two older ones. I say two.
Three. The frontlets.
Yeah.
Three. Jesus.
I have a black one, a silver one, and a red one.
I don't know why I'm saying Jesus to that. I have 15 Game Boys.
Yeah, I have a lot. I have 3 SPs. I think 2 advanced. It might be more than that.
Okay.
I think it's 2 colours and an original.
Oh, I need to get myself some SPs for those backlights.
Some of the SPs are great. There's one that's got a Pikachu on it, like a Pikachu face on the back, on the clamshell.
Yeah, nice.
And it's bright yellow, and it's got a Pikachu on the inside as well. There's also one that I really want, and it's really expensive now. It was a Groudon one. It was launched with Pokemon Ruby. and I'd really like it, but it's really difficult to get.
Do you need the authentic version?
Yeah, of course I need the authentic version.
Well, you can't just go get a knockoff reshell.
No, they're never as good, man.
That's true, but sometimes, they're less scratched and they're brand new.
To actually buy one of these, though, you're looking at least £120.
Woohoo!
So, I just found someone on. There's a site I've never heard of called Pick Click UK. There was a Kyogre one as well, and they're selling both of them together, I think, for £130.
So that's pretty good then, right?
I think that's for the pair. Yeah, it is genuinely for the pair. Holy shit!
Snap it up.
I can't afford that. It's too much money, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's the price of almost a Switch Lite here.
Yeah, I mean, like one day I might get one. Someone's selling someone on this site that again I've never heard of is selling one for £70. Oh, it's already sold. Fuck. But it's nuts. But it's so much money, but it's really nice.
Yeah. So it's once you start, you can't stop. I try to kind of limit myself on trying to find mint condition collectible, editions of these Game Boys. It's just too much.
Yeah, you'll be there
so many
forever. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'll settle for just the normal colors. You know what I mean? Like just one of every color. That'll do me.
Yeah,
the normal colors.
Right. I'm gonna stop looking at those because that's a rabbit hole.
Yeah, we're definitely sidetracked.
We are. Anyway, but to be fair, there's not much else to discuss about the Switch because it's all just, it's the rumour mill. It's just getting started. So
it never stops. If there's one thing the Switch has been good at, whether intentionally or not, it's been rumours about revisions of the Switch.
Oh yeah. I mean, even before it launched, it was constant rumours of what will Nintendo's new console look like.
Dude, I remember on my other channel, I did a video about, before it even launched again, about Nintendo releasing a standalone dock, which had extra processing power in it. I can't remember how the story went, but it got 54,000 views, which was astronomical for my channel. So people are hungry for Switch revisions, man. I don't know. We love the Switch, but people are seemingly just wanting more.
Yeah.
More from Nintendo.
Oh,
which is good for them.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely true. But yeah, so this the whole rumor mill is nothing new. It's not going away anytime soon. It just changes every sort of few months, and it's
yeah.
So I'm sure at some point we'll find out where Sharp's screen technology is implemented in the Switch. Maybe be it the Switch Lite, be it whatever revision they bring out. But apparently it's going to be an indium gallium zinc oxide display. Ooh.
Also, an interesting question I'd like to ask is, with news of these new panels, has this given you cold feet about investing in a Switch if you're not already a Switch owner?
Yes, leave us a comment.
Hold on even longer.
Yes, leave a comment if you still want to... If you want to get a Switch still, or if you want to now wait to see where this is going again.
I've gotten to the point where I just tell everyone, just don't wait, just jump in. They're cheap enough, just get one.
Yeah, a Switch Lite is
waiting for Nintendo, man.
So fucking cheap, it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, and you could be waiting forever with Nintendo.
Exactly,
they're just so coy and silent, biding their time.
Pretty much. Anyway. That's pretty much all that we can talk about with the subject, so let us move on to the next story of the show. We're going to talk a little bit about Pokemon now, because there is a new trailer, and I have fun things to say about it. I love the wheezing. That's what I want to say, more than anything. Galarian wheezing is amazing. Yeah. It's got a top hat that acts as a chimney, and it's got a moustache. It's fantastic.
He's no longer purple, though, is he?
No,
he's purple? Or is he grey now?
He's now grey, And a very funny tweet by one of the Eurogamer staff was a picture of Galarian Weezing with the caption, Jacob Rees-Smog. It's so good. It's so good. It's now my favourite Pokemon.
You haven't even seen the rest yet.
Nope, I don't care. That's all I need to see. My money is well spent if I can have a Galarian Weezing. Oh, it's wonderful. But yeah, so there's lots of other things that have been revealed that I really like. I really like this trailer. It's sold me even more on this game. Frankly, if this is the game that we're getting, fuck the national decks. I don't care anymore. I cared a little bit. Now I don't care. I'm really looking forward to this. So we've had the team of the game really revealed. So you have a team in every game. So you have Team Rocket or Team Plasma, Team Magma, Aqua, what all the other ones, Galactic, Flare, and what was the other one? Skull. That should be all the teams from the major games. And this one is going to be called Team Yell, because of course it is.
Nice.
It's a bit of a lo-fi name, that is, to be honest.
Yeah.
You got Team Rocket, Skull, Galactic, Yell. That's good. What I love about them, though, is they're basically just super fans of this girl called Marnie, I want to say. Yeah, Marnie. They're just kind of... They're just this girl's super fans.
Is she a playable character, or...?
She's not a playable character. She is one of the rivals. This video has shown off 2 new rivals. So one of them is called... I don't know how to pronounce that. Bede. I'm going to say Bede, whatever. And I kind of like the fact they've got a smirk and they actually look like a bit of a dick rival, which is something that we've been lacking in the games for quite a while. Gary or Blue and Silver were massive bellends. Yeah. And
do you remember when you used to be able to name your rival?
It's the best thing.
Right.
You always gave them a rude name. Always.
I think I posted one in GameCast recently of what I named my crystal rival. Can't remember what it was though. Probably something super childish.
Oh, probably. I always name it something like Buttface or something ridiculous.
I'll have to find it.
I think I managed to fit in Mike Hunt before.
Mike Hunt.
Yeah, Michael Hunt. What's rude about that? I don't know what you're talking about.
Where is it?
You can't do most of them anymore though, because they have profanity filters.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
The last one that you could actively name your rival had a profanity filter on it. Because even now you can name your player character anyway, and that has a profanity filter on it as well.
Why do they have that if nobody else except you can see it?
The player names other people can see. Because if you're playing online, like if you're doing an online match, they can see your player name.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
It's still a bit, bit boring.
Yeah, a little bit too safe, isn't it?
Yeah. You can't even do My Dick Sent Out Squirtle anymore.
Oh, man.
Oh, good times. Good times. Still, though, I really like Marnie. She's my new favourite character because she's a punk, and it's like the best thing.
Very nice.
What I do kind of like, I like the fact that it doesn't feel thrown in. It really fits the whole British theme because, punk is a very British movement. And, the whole team in general and her is the punk theme. And it's like, they're the sort of the ratty underdog punks. And that's probably where that's coming from. And I really like that.
Now, I somehow missed this trailer in that article I was reading. But by the sounds of it, and from what I've seen in previous trailers is Are we kind of like shifting time periods?
I don't think so. I think it's all still.
No. Okay.
It's just the way that this is. If you've been to the UK, it's still a very in the cities in particular. It's a very industrial place.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah, particularly in places like Birmingham, very industrial cities. So I don't think it's not a time displacement, and it's certainly not out of. It's certainly not out of the theme.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just capturing it differently with the fully realized 3D environments, I guess.
Yeah, I think that might be it as well. But there's been other things released. There's been one other Pokemon released, and there has also been an evolution of a previously obtainable Pokemon has been revealed for the first time since, I think, Generation 4. They've announced that Lanoon, which is one of the two... So they had Zigzagoon and Lanoon, which were the two sort of basic normal type Pokemon that you first encounter in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. They now have regional forms, which are more like badgers, which I love. That's very British. And it now evolves into a very, very beefy thing called Obstagoon, which is fucking weird. It looks so strange, but it also looks so strange that it's cool. I really kind of dig it in a weird way. It looks like a bouncer. It looks like if you made a badger a bouncer, almost. It's so stupid, but it's so cool. I kind of like it. I've just seen.
Looking forward to seeing this.
I've just seen a really cool bit of fan art where they've made an Obstagoon and they've made it play like a flying V guitar.
Nice.
Because it's basically so metal.
These Galarians look even better in action.
They look so good, don't they? I love it.
Oh, here's the badger. Here he is.
There he is. I love the badger. He's got
an extra long tail and extra long tongue.
It's so good.
Cool. It looks pretty sick.
Yeah. I love it. One thing I think I have noticed about some of these new models, they've actually given the eyes a bit of depth.
Obstagoon. Yeah.
Because I noticed this while I was playing Pokemon Go the other day. A lot of the models on this game, on Pokemon Go, the eyes still don't have any depth unless it's like something that's obvious. It's like they're still just stuck to the face, which makes sense in anime. But when you're going, what's he saying?
Sorry, I'm looking at this fucking hamster Pokemon.
Yes, the hamster Pokemon. It turns into an angry hamster. It's great. We'll get to that.
Anyway, sorry. Carry on.
But it's like it's a style that works when you're doing sort of 2D sprites, but when you transition it into 3D, it does look a bit off. Whereas now, if you look, for instance, at the Galarian Weezing, it has proper shadowing around the rims of the eyes. So even if the eyes are still just sort of stuck onto the face, it makes it look like they have some more depth to them, and like they're not just stuck onto there. So that's one thing that I've noticed that I really like. So fuck you all if you're saying that they're just recycling the fucking... I hate the people who are saying that they're just recycling the assets, because they're fucking not. You're an idiot. Anyway, let's talk about the hamster Pokemon. It's called Morpeko, Morpeko, and it's actually called Hangry Mode because it gets hungry and angry.
That's so good.
It's so good.
So awesome.
So it's basically this version's false Pikachu, which they have in every generation. They have a false Pikachu thing. And this one, so it starts out as a lovely, cute little hamster. It's like, all yellow and brown and lovely and happy. It's got a move called Aura Wheel, which is this weird electric move. I don't know what it does, but I think it's exclusive to that Pokemon. And when it changes into hangry mode, we don't know specifically how it does it, but it says when it's hungry, so however that mechanic comes out in game, it turns into a very angry purple and black hamster, and Aura Wheel changes to a dark type move. I love it.
Could you imagine if you just starved it, like, intentionally to take it down in hangry mode?
Oh, poor thing. The thing is, what I would be interested to see is if it changed type, like if the actual Pokemon changed type, or whether it's just the move. Because if it's the Pokemon that changes type, that'd be a really interesting thing, because that adds an extra element of, oh shit, it's changed type, now I have to change my strategy to go around it.
Imagine if it could change to multiple types based on different moods. That would be game breaking, but
that would be incredibly game breaking. I mean, I like the idea, but at the same time, that would be incredibly difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Do you remember all of the false or fake Pikachus off the top of your head for each generation?
Right.
Ooh, here we go. I'm curious.
Pikachu from Generation 1, obviously. Pichu, the de-evolution from Gen 2. Plusle and Minun from Generation 3. Generation 5's was Emolga. Generation 6 was Dedenne. Generation 7 was... Oh no, Generation 7 was Dedenne. Generation 6... Oh, I've got 6 and 4 to go. Come on, I can do this. Pachirisu was Generation 4. Generation 6 was... Come on, I can do this. Nope, I hate Generation 6 too much. I don't remember it.
You should totally put those up on screen as well, so people can see them.
Pikachu... Analogs.
What was the second generation one? Was that the one that looked like
no.
Small rodent?
No, I was right. It's Dedenne. So it's Dedenne. I was thinking of the wrong thing. Is Gen 6. It looks more like a fat hamster. And then the one I thought was called Dedenne from Gen 7 is called... Ah, God, what's it called? That big fat grey thing. I can't even remember.
So question from a semi-Pokemon novice. If these false Pikachus are generally single, like no evolution Pokemon, right? They just have one form, correct?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay, so how come that's the case if Pikachu himself can evolve like twice?
I don't know.
It's just because the Pikachu we know, chose not to.
Probably. I'd say that's probably it.
Interesting.
Alola Pokedex. I can tell you the name of the one that I thought was Dedenne, but isn't, and I know exactly what it looks like.
I need to replace my crystal battery so I can get playing that.
Yeah, I'd say it's good. I've got a hankering to play Emerald. Reason being is because they announced that fucking Lanoon evolution, and it got me thinking about those games.
Maybe I should just play Emerald too.
Emerald's a good game. That's
an advanced NSP one,
it is. Right? That is my favourite one. Togedemaru is the one I was thinking of, the big fat one. And it looks like it's electric and steel. It looks like a big fat mouse. It's grey and it's got yellow bits. There we go. Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna say I technically got 6 out of 7.
I'll give you that.
Okay, I got 6 out of 7 names. So I'll take that.
You got all 7 in a manner of speaking.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Anyway, there's one final thing that wasn't in the trailer, but it has been announced on the Pokemon website. Now, there's a new feature in Sword and Shield called Pokejobs. And this is a thing where players can check available jobs at a special PC in Pokemon centers, where you can help out corporations and universities with some work. You select a specific Pokemon to help with jobs such as construction work, cooking, farming, and whatever. In return, the Pokemon will come back with having grown from the experience with awards such as XP or base stat improvements. So they're called EVs. Which is
You know what would be really cool? Which is asking way too much.
No.
But we're talking about getting jobs in Pokemon. Imagine if they had mini games in Pokemon where you'd get like Dino Rush style games, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
Yeah, that would be cool. See, with this, I know full well that what they're meaning by all of this stuff is that it's going to be an off-screen thing. You just send one of your Pokemon off to do a job, and then it will come back to you. What I would love is for it to be a mini game. I know it won't be, but I would love it to be.
Oh. I mean, we've had games within games before. It's not a new concept.
Definitely
and some
not.
of them have been bloody good too.
Well, Animal Crossing had a bunch of SNES games in it.
Oh, come on. This would be so cool. And you could have so many different themed mini games as well.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Oh.
I don't think that's going to happen, but that would be cool.
Someday. Oh, yeah, someday.
Yeah, exactly. Still. Well, this trailer in general, let's just wrap it up, has left me very excited for Pokemon Sun, Sword and Shield. I was excited for it, and to be honest, now I'm just more excited. I'm really happy about all this stuff and all the changes.
Yeah, it was good.
Mm.
Yeah. November's going to be a busy month for you. Pokemon and Doom.
Oh, shit, yeah, Doom's coming out as well. Oh, no. What am I going to do?
Yeah, it's going to be a big one.
It is. It definitely is. And on that note, let us move on to the final sort of joint story of the show. We're going to be touching on loot boxes because loot boxes is a perennial topic nowadays. But for me, at least, there's good news. Good things are happening regarding loot boxes, and we'll start with the fact that Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo have all announced that they are planning rules that will not allow loot boxes on their consoles' games at all, unless a publisher decides to disclose the drop rates of said loot boxes. Good. This is good.
This is good, but can I just point out something just insane, right? Is we've had all these fractured efforts across nations to have legislations in place for loot boxes, and a lot of the answer has been to just be transparent about drop rates, right?
Yeah.
Mixed bag of success. Some nations have had success, some haven't. But then just fucking Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft just kind of casually come out of nowhere. I'm like, oh yeah, we're doing this.
What I think it is, I think it's a response to the fact that so many countries are now paying attention to it, and they've all gone like, maybe we should do something about this. Yeah.
I mean, it's good. I'm not complaining.
Oh,
but it just seems kind of funny is that they just strolled on in and just kind of slapped down the law, and this will pretty much be the end of like unregulated loot boxes because 99% of games are on console.
Yeah, and you know, the only platform this doesn't apply to really is Switch. It's not Switch, sorry, it's PC.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, it's a bit of a shit job for PC gamers, but I like to think that most PC gamers have a bit more nous, because if you're a PC gamer, obviously this is going to sound elitist and bullshit, but this, you know where I'm going to come from with this. If you're a PC gamer, I feel like you're more quote-unquote into gaming than someone who plays on console, and you are therefore probably slightly more likely to be more up-to-date on the industry stuff. I might be talking out my arse. That's just the way I kind of feel about the industry.
Well, I mean, console definitely attracts a more casual audience because of its ease of getting into. Plug and play.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I feel like, obviously, you're not less of a gamer for playing on console rather than PC. I play on console quite a lot. But I feel like the way...
I can't save you if you keep...
No, I need to just sort of justify where I'm coming from. You know, I started I was playing on console, and then sort of when I decided I liked gaming and wanted to get more into it, I got into a PC gaming. That's where my position is coming from on this. But at the same time, I'd still like to see Valve join in on this shit. You know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would pretty much be a slam dunk then, wouldn't it?
It'd be a good bit of PR that Valve fucking needs at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Especially with their history of dodgy bullshit as well.
Yeah.
Not from them, but from people leveraging.
Well, you say not from them, because CSGO's still a fucking thing, and they don't have their...
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's mostly people leveraging the platform for dodgy activity. So...
Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, I think this is a great development.
It's fantastic, but I still just find it mind-boggling that, you know, the nations didn't have the power to just get, you know, like, I don't know, it's just...
It's not that they didn't have the power, I think it's just that they were lobbied at, and they just believed the lobbyists probably more than they should have done. This is... So this has all come from the ESA. Fucking weird. I have no idea how the ESA let this happen, because they're supposed to be a lobbying industry for the games industry. They had a Federal Trade Commission workshop intended to examine consumer protection issues related to video game loot boxes. And they confirmed that Nintendo will require paid loot boxes in games developed for their platforms to disclose information on the relative rarity or probability of obtaining random virtual items. This will also apply to games that add loot boxes in a post-launch update. Thank fuck.
Thanks for clarification.
Yeah, because this is, you know, Crash Team Racing, the new one, has had loot boxes patched into it, which is fucking bullshit, but means that it's not on the packaging, like the physical box packaging. It's not on there anywhere in stores because, you know, they weren't there when it was launched. And I just think that's bullshit, frankly.
Yep.
So, yeah, there's that. And I just think this is a good way to, you know, get...
How much do you think this will eat into the revenue?
I think it might well eat into the revenue, but to be honest, that's probably... Considering how much money the people who... Like, the companies who put loot boxes in their games are mostly companies that are making a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be anything that they can't handle.
But I mean, like, how many times do you think people have a spin on a loot box or, you know, whatever, and you don't, you know, you want something very specific or a select few items from it, and you always have that hope, but then when you see the 0.5% chance, you're like, nah, never mind. Like, surely it's gotta mean something. Like, it's surely gotta be a pretty big hit. Like, people aren't that dumb that they're going to keep rolling a 0.5% chance of a drop.
Well, that's kind of the point, though, because we don't want these people... Well, they do, but we don't want these people to just keep rolling and keep rolling and keep rolling what?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, you know, at the end of the day, like I said, the companies that have these things in their games are companies that really can afford it. If you look at the revenues of companies like EA, they can afford to not have loot boxes in their games, or at least have people buy them less, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, perhaps this will increase the drop rate for a lot of these drop boxes, so I don't know, it's just
It may do. It may well make...
Roll less, better payouts.
Yeah, I think it might well lead to fairer... Well, I still don't like the fact that loot boxes being as it might lead to fairer odds, because companies will be like, oh, people have stopped buying them because we've shown our shit odds. So I think even... Because when Overwatch were forced to do that in China, I think they had to change their loot boxes because people were like, oh, these odds are shit.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it might well lead to something like that, but obviously we don't know.
I suspect that has to be the case, because like I'm imagining these odds being like horrible if we can't see them. So
oh yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I'm all for this. I'm glad this is happening. I'm not defending loot boxes in any way, shape, or form. I'm just curious as to how this will affect how much revenue they raise.
Yeah. Well, we can only wait and see how this ends up. But let's read Nintendo and Sony's statements. Sony's statement I don't like quite as much. It's a little bit more vague on the topic, but Sony Interactive Entertainment aims to ensure PlayStation users have access to information and tools such as parental wallet controls that will help them make informed decisions about in-game purchasing. We support industry efforts to disclose the probability of obtaining randomized virtual items known as loot boxes, and are committed to providing consumers with this information for all the games we produce and publish. Not too bad. And Nintendo's statement: at Nintendo, we ensuring that our customers can make informed choices when they play our games is very important. As part of our ongoing efforts in this area, Nintendo will require the disclosure of drop rates in Nintendo Switch games that offer randomized virtual items for purchase, such as loot boxes. This requirement will apply to all new games and includes updates to current games that add loot boxes to in-game purchases. We offer tools like Nintendo Switch Parental Control mobile app, which empowers parents to choose what works for their family, including managing in-game purchases and setting playtime limits. So, there's still that sort of element of, oh, parents, maybe you should keep an eye on your kids going on there. And admittedly, in some ways they should, but that, at least in this instance, they're not then trying to take the blame away from the companies in this regard. Because a lot of times when companies say stuff like this, they're trying to take the blame away from the fact that the loot boxes are there. They're going, oh, well, you should have kept an eye on your child or your spending or whatever.
Yeah.
So at least I think it's a bit better handled in this instance.
The issues where we have children spending on these loot boxes is probably like a fraction, compared to the actual people spending money on these loot boxes.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, I think the statements and what their intentions certainly seem to be in the right place with this. There's not been a full statement from Microsoft yet, but we know that they're involved in this as well. So I think overall this could do nothing but good for the game industry.
No, and credit to Nintendo. As much as they drive us insane with some of the stuff they get up to, I've always felt like they've wanted to keep a pretty clean environment, and fair environment as well. I mean, you probably remember early in the year when they asked, I think it was one of the developers for one of their mobile games to dial back some kind of drop rate or loot box, or to remove the loot boxes from the game or something like that.
Yeah.
But no, I've always had this good feeling from Nintendo that they're at least trying to maintain a fair, clean, fun environment.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think, as much as Nintendo and they do really weird fucking things sometimes, I never get the impression from them that they're actively trying to dick over the consumer. Yeah, I always feel like any mistakes that they make is just them being
a little bit cooked.
Yeah. I mean, we might be entirely wrong and they might be doing it deliberately, but I don't know, man. Yeah, I never get the intention. I never get the idea from them that anything bad they do is necessarily deliberate.
No, perfect example, like the no chat app on the Switch and having to use a phone app. It's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But just weird shit. Like, they do weird shit like that all the time, and it drives you insane. But I've always felt like they are true to their desire to create a fun gaming experience and to deliver fun products to the consumers that they seemingly actually care about and fostering. They want to foster that. So,
yeah,
they seem legit in a lot of ways.
Definitely. But anyway, so we've talked about that for a little while now. I do just want to touch on another little thing before we wrap up, though. It's that Rocket League have decided, after about a year of this stuff, that they are completely ditching randomized paid loot boxes from their game. Good, frankly. I think it's so annoying to me. They were introduced in 2016, so it's about a year after the game came out. And I put a good 100 hours into that game. And then they introduced the loot boxes, and I sort of stopped wanting to play it because of that. Like, it really put me off.
Mm-hmm.
And this might bring me back, because they're doing something pro-consumer. An interesting point, though, is that this was announced about a day after Jim Sterling put out a Jimquisition about... I think it was about loot boxes specifically. And he named Rocket League explicitly in this as a fact that it was, you know, he named it in one of his Game of the Year awards when it came out. And he basically said that it was, you know, effectively this award was tainted now. And it had a bunch of asterisks next to it, because obviously he awarded it at the time, but then after he'd awarded it that Game of the Year award, they added the microtransactions, which would have, for his criteria, made it invalid.
Yeah.
But it seems weird that that's come so close after that. And the statement...
Winky dink.
You say that, but the statement they put out seemed very rushed. Like, it was only a paragraph long. It was very sort of like... It felt very rushed, put together.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I just don't feel like Jim Sterling's big enough to have that kind of impact in terms of his like follower base.
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, the Jimquisition is genuinely a show that's watched by a lot of industry people.
Yeah, it is. I know he's called out a lot of people, like, you know, within the industry, and it gets a lot of attention from them. So maybe that's the waves that they're worried about. I mean, maybe they were on the fence anyway, and they were thinking about doing it, and then he dropped this, and they're like, you know what, fuck it, let's just do it right now, pull it.
That may well be the case, to be honest. Yeah, I definitely see where that's coming from. But it does seem a little bit too close to be coincidental, you know.
I wonder if he'll do a response video to this.
He did do a slight response. He did a bonus, I think it was a bonus Jimquisition or something else this week. And he mentioned it in that, going, hey, look, this is the thing. Yeah. One of them, the one that we were talking about, is the sinister reasons for adding microtransactions after launch. And then there's the bonus one this week, who's blaming games for mass shootings as a disgusting distraction. So if you don't like politics, don't watch that.
Yeah.
Just saying. I saw someone, there's a Twitter account called Shitty Gamer Takes, which is great. And one of the things they posted on there was a guy saying that Spec Ops The Line wasn't a political game. Which is possibly one of the shittiest takes I've ever seen in my life. One of the writers of Spec Ops The Line retweeted that saying, trust me, it was political.
That's so good.
Oh dear. One thing to note as well, though, about Rocket League, getting back on topic, is the fact that Psyonix, the developer, were acquired by Epic Games earlier this year. And maybe one of the reasons for them wanting to do this is because Epic Games are trying to be perceived as the good guys in the games industry, particularly the PC market. Whether or not that's always successful is an entirely different story, but I think that's what they're trying to do.
At least they're trying.
Yeah, exactly. But so they're not removing the microtransactions altogether. So they're still going to have... It's basically the Fortnite business model. So they're having... It's a thing called the Rocket Pass, where you get the whole season's worth of items just for a set amount of money. So it's exactly the same way that they do the Fortnite's battle passes. But now, instead of having loot boxes where you pay your in-game credits or you pay your money to get the credits to then get the loot box, and you get a random item, you will actually just get the item that you pick. So if you want a specific item, you'll be able to get that, which I like. I like that. I don't love it because Rocket League is not a free game. Like, if Rocket League were free, then I'd be all on board with it. But Rocket League still costs money. It still costs £15.
I got that game free.
Lucky you.
Back in the day on the PS.
Didn't they give it? Yeah, they gave it away for free, didn't they? For like a week or something. But
I'm pretty sure that's when that game exploded.
Yeah, I think I played it. I bought it because I actually wanted to play it anyway, and then they put it out for it. I don't really mind. I think that's a good thing. Put it out for free because it was it got very popular and it exploded. Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, here's a thing I'd like to point out. I've just noticed on Steam. I'm looking at the reviews. The all reviews section has an asterisk on it, and that asterisk says this product has experienced one or more periods of off-topic review activity. Based on your preferences, the reviews within these periods have been excluded from the review score.
What?
So this is... It's their... the Steam were planning on introducing a review bomb. Anti-review bomb measures. That's what it's to do with.
Interesting.
There we go. That's something I didn't
realize. That's on the Rocket League page?
It is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. Anyway. That's just a random thing that came up. But yeah, I think overall this is a good move because, loot boxes themselves are not... They're not a good thing to be having in games. I think, even in terms of PR now, to say that your game has loot boxes in it is to effectively commit suicide on that game.
Oh, yeah. Such a dirty word.
Yeah, exactly. So I think overall this is definitely a good move. And while I still I'm not overly on board with it, again, because Rocket League isn't a free game. If they made the game free, fine, do what you like. Because this game is now, 4 or 5 years old? 4 years. Fucking hell, it's 4 years old. That's depressing. And it's still a very good game, and it's still very well made, but it is 4 years old. And if you want to be doing this kind of thing with adding, rocket passes and and more microtransactions into it, I'd like you to make the game free. Because, the reason they do it is obviously because they want more money out of the game, and the big sales period has gone. Most people now own this game, but they want to get some more money out of it. But I'd rather they make the game free, and it'd be more palatable to me.
That's fair enough.
That's just me, I don't like microtransactions in games that I have already paid money for. That's my opinion. A lot of people agree with me, a lot of people disagree with me. That's life.
Yeah. How many paywalls must you pay to get all the content?
Exactly. Apparently, though, a lot of people have been getting... quite a few people have been getting very angry about the fact that they're removing loot boxes.
Oh.
Like, people have genuinely been getting angry about this. This is obviously a minority of people, but they've been getting genuinely angry about the fact that loot boxes have been removed. These people are fucking idiots.
The whales count.
Yeah. So stupid. Anyway, that is pretty much the end of the topic on loot boxes and everything else regarding that for this week. And yeah, let's I think, wrap up the show. That brings us to the end of this episode of the GameCast NewsCast, and I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to like, subscribe, and share whatever you fancy. And our social links are in the description. You can join our Discord as well, where you can join in some chat with all of us. Thank you, Sully, for joining me for this episode.
Anytime, sir. Always fun.
It is. It's always fun. Stay tuned, though, to GameCast. We've got the new news format every weekend. We've got hopefully a pocket edition coming up at some point. about...
Should hopefully be later next week.
Yeah, hopefully later next week about something, be it Stadia, be it something that Solid records with Mark about something else, who knows? G-Fighters may well be returning at some point, who knows?
God, please. Poor Mark. We're waiting on Mark. He's on the mend, I hear. So
he's on the mend. He had a smooth brain surgery, yeah.
So we'll hopefully have him back soon. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to chatting with him with our various projects and Dragon Ball Z episodes.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Anyway, thank you all very much for watching this, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much.